guys, I'm Aveline. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So today we are building a tiny house. I will say that it's kind of hit me while building this house that tiny houses in The Sims now are actually not that tiny. I know that you don't have to make it 64 tiles, but the limit is 64 tiles, and sometimes I want to use all the space possible. Does that make sense? So, I don't know, 64 tiles is a lot though for a tiny house, I feel. I don't know what that's about, but anyways, it just kind of hit me while I was building this house that it seems a lot bigger than a tiny house, like than the tiny houses I've made in the past before Tiny Living came out. I don't mind it though, you still get the benefits from this house because it is considered a tiny house. And also, I didn't want to make it a micro home simply because it's for a master chef. And I felt like if I had to make a micro home, I couldn't really fit in like a proper, nice, and decent sized kitchen because that's what a master chef deserves. So I had to go with a tiny house. And also because I wanted the Sim living in this house to actually have room to invite friends over for dinner parties and stuff. I feel like that's something a master chef would do if they're working on, I don't know, a new cookbook or trying out recipes or something like that. It would be nice for them to be able to invite friends over to test the recipes on them. I don't know if that's mean, but anyways. So that's kind of the thought process there. And yeah, this is what we ended up building. It's a mid-century modern house. Mid-century, yeah. I don't know why that sounded so weird to me for a second there. It's a mid-century modern house. We're building it in Oasis Springs, and it's built on a 20 by 15. I don't remember what this area is called. With the last update that we got, I think it was the last one, or it was the Evergreen Harbor, or that's what it's called either, Eco Lifestyle update. We actually, or they gave the different areas in the 3 original worlds, so Willow Creek, Oasis Springs, and also Newcrest. They gave the different areas in those worlds names, but I don't remember them because I don't actually know them because I haven't read them. So it's not a question of do I remember, it's more a question of do I actually know the names of the places? But this is in the lower right area of the map. So you know how Oasis Springs is very deserty and there's a lot of sand everywhere. I think this is one of the only areas. Actually, I take that back because there's one area with a lot of sand. The rest have a lot of grass in them. Or maybe I'm just remembering it that way because I like to paint grass on the lots. I don't really know. The point is, this is built in the lower right area of the map, whatever that's called. I don't know where grass is in Oasis Springs because I don't really build a lot in Oasis Springs. It's just kind of, the world is too different from my reality, from what I see in my day-to-day life for me to kind of, like, palm trees, we don't have them here. They're not, no. The first time I saw palm trees was in 2000 and, let me think, 12, I think, when I went to Australia. So, yeah, that's the first time I've seen palm trees. We don't have them in Denmark, as far as I know at least. They might have planted them somewhere, possibly in Copenhagen or something, but other than that, they're nowhere to be seen. So that alone is quite unknown to me, but then there's also the whole desert aspect. Again, we don't have a desert here. It's basically just grass and trees and fields and stuff like that. So no massive, actually there is one area that has a massive amount of sand in it. I've been there. I don't remember what it's called, but I still wouldn't call it a desert. So anyways, so yeah, that's why Oasis Springs is a little bit unknown to me, a little bit different from what I'm used to, and I don't build a lot here for that reason. But mid-century modern houses, I like how they look in Oasis Springs. So when I decided that this was going to be a mid-century modern house, I knew that I had to build it in Oasis Springs. So yeah. Also, this house is for either 1 or 2 Sims. I believe the double bed is placed in a way so that you can actually have 2 Sims sleeping in it. But it was only made with 1 Sim in mind because I feel like the Sim living here is single. They might be seeing someone, I don't really know, but like single in the way that they live alone. So they might be seeing someone, but they don't live together. I don't really know why. That's just kind of the picture that I have of them for some odd reason. So, but that's basically all. Like, I feel like they're single and they're most definitely a master chef. They're really good at their job. I try to kind of Other than making the kitchen a lot bigger than I normally would for tiny houses, and a lot nicer, I think, too. I also tried to use a lot of the paintings that came with Dine Out, so there's a lot of like food, or not a lot, there's a couple of food themed pictures, the nicer looking ones, because I chose not to use the posters from Cool Kitchen Stuff Pack, even though they also have food on them. It's just that they're posters, and I feel like if they're a master chef, they probably have a nice pay, so they wouldn't have, I don't know, you could be a rich person and still have posters hanging in your house. I just feel like it didn't really fit the sim. So I didn't feel like it fit the sim, basically. But other than those posters, there's a couple of paintings from Dine Out. So the wine glass, for example, there was also like a breakfast kind of picture that I put in this room, actually. I also decided that they would have like, I think I said that earlier. I wanted to make sure that they had enough space, so like a proper dining setup for their friends to come over and try out recipes and stuff, so that's what we're doing right here. Usually with these houses, I mean, I've built a house the same size as this one, but I've made it for 8 Sims. This is just for 1 or 2 Sims. You see, suddenly we have a lot more place, because if I had to make this for a total of 8 Sims, the dining area would be tiny. It would be a single tile table with 3 chairs, or maybe even just 2 chairs or something. You can also see the whole living room area is basically just this little corner right here. I actually decided to clutter it up like crazy, so I think it turned out kind of cozy. So I actually really like how that turned out. Also because I'm a clutterholic. It is what it is. Well, that's basically their living room area. Just this little corner down here with a small TV. I think you can also listen to music on that TV unit and possibly also use it as a bookcase. It's a very fancy little item. It's from Tiny Living. I almost said Discover University. That would be so wrong. No, it's most definitely from Tiny Living. So it's very useful for a lot of things. So if you're building tiny houses, it's a good little item to have in your house. But other than that, we just place a lot of plants over here in the corner. I went a little bit plant crazy. I'm working on an apartment for tomorrow currently. It's going to be a smaller one as well, but I am cluttering it up as much as I feel fits for. That did not make sense. As much as I feel like it's fitting for the whatever. It's not super cluttered is my point, but it's not minimalistic either, because I'm not doing that. I think I would feel so uncomfortable building something minimalistic, like I feel like it would just end up being super empty or something, unless I can make everything white and then still clutter it up, and it'll be like a fake minimalistic interior. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something like that. I actually think I wrote down an idea for a real-time build, and it's got something to do with minimalism, but we'll see if I even end up doing it, because there's just something about that theme that makes me feel really uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. To me, in The Sims, it just looks better if there's a lot of clutter lying around, because I feel like it could easily become like almost like a showroom kind of interior if you don't have the magazines lying on the coffee table, or the remote control, or I don't know, a couple of fizzy drinks standing on one of the counters. If you don't have the utensils for cooking standing on the counters, stuff like that. Salt and pepper shakers standing somewhere, and a few book collections or whatever. I feel like it just ends up looking a bit like a showroom, and that's a feel that I'm not personally very fond of. I understand why other people decorate like that, and I like that we don't all decorate the same way, because I like differences like that. But to me, I can't make myself do it. But we'll see if I end up doing something like it. It would actually count as a challenge to me, so I don't really know, but we'll see. Anyways, so I think, were we already done with the bedroom? No, we're not. I actually decided there's not a whole lot going on in here, because it's a weird, like the whole shape of the room. It's not the shape of the room, it's just a square. But since I put the bed on one side, and like I felt like it would, I don't know, there was something weird about this room. I don't know if it's the windows on like the opposite side of the door, because they're ceiling to floor, and I don't like to place stuff in front of windows, so I had to keep that wall completely bare. That might be why, but I decided to basically just like plant down 2 dressers, so it looks like they have a whole wall just with dressers. I actually kind of like how that looks in real life. Also, imagine how many clothes you could store in those dressers. Like, yes. Also, this reminds me, the other day I tweeted, if you're not following me on Twitter, by the way, you definitely should. I don't know why, but you should anyways. But I tweeted that, because this is true. I might have mentioned it in a video, but I'm not a very, like, dressed kind of girl. Like, I like my jeans, I like my shorts, sometimes, mostly jeans. I feel comfortable in a pair of jeans that aren't too tight, and then with a t-shirt that's not too tight either. That's like my go-to outfit. And then with a nice pair of shoes and a nice bag, you know, the whole, like, it looks okay. Anyways, it's not just jeans and a t-shirt. But anyways, with Scandinavians, it's never just like a pair of jeans with a t-shirt. It has to be a nice cut. It has to be good materials, so on and so on. It's a whole thing. Whatever. But I decided to actually buy summer dresses because summer weather in Denmark is different than it is in Scotland. And I lived in Scotland for 3.5 years. So I experienced 3 summers over there. I think. Yes, 16, 17, 18, 19. Wait, that's 4. I experienced 4. How does that make sense? I was there for 3.5. I don't want to do the math. Anyways, so when I say that summer is different over there compared to here, I mean that it's windy over there, it's colder, it's rainy, and when it rains all day. When it rains in Denmark, it's basically like, sure, we have certain days where it rains all day, but mostly it's like a couple of hours, 1 hour, and it's not that much either, usually. And then temperature-wise, it also gets warmer. So because I've lived over there for a while, I threw out a lot of clothes at some point. I didn't throw it out, I gave it away. Don't worry, I made that mistake the last time. When I say I throw stuff out, I just mean I give it away to like charity and stuff. So I I gave away 4 bags of clothing at some point. But basically, because the weather is different over there compared to summer weather in Denmark, I don't have a lot of summer clothes. So I decided to finally get out of my comfort zone. I bought a lot of those like flowy dresses that are super nice to wear in the warm weather, and they still cover up your legs. So if you have pale legs like me and you don't really feel, not that there's anything wrong with being pale, I just personally, because of history, I don't feel like showing them off all the time. So I decided to buy those dresses, and now the weather does not permit me to wear the dresses that I bought. Why does that happen? It's so annoying. I know we're talking about clothes in a Sims video, and a lot of you also prefer that I talk about the build, but I am beyond frustrated that I just finally want to wear my cute summer dresses and the weather is not cooperating. Please just go back to the hot temperatures, but without making my apartment feel like a sauna, please. That would be great. Anyways, we're almost at the end of the video, so just a quick note on the exterior, the backyard right here. I decided to, of course, give them an outdoors kitchen. I think I forgot to give them a sink, so you might have to fix that. I don't really know if they need a sink for an outdoors kitchen when there's a barbecue. It was mainly made, like the kitchen counters are mainly put there to support the barbecue, does that make sense? But I felt like they just needed an outdoors area too, because they are a master chef. And then they also have a pool. We are in Oasis Springs, so that felt fitting. A lounge area, some lounge chairs, and that is about it. So if you guys like this house, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!
Someone like me is here with somebody like you. There's something